Hello, I'm Laura McHarrie at The Hidden Edge with another tea break tip on how to use business models and tools to help you manage your growing business. Today we're looking at direct and lumpy mail. The lump in the envelope is one part of your sales team in that envelope. You might also want to consider the press release, the testimonial or a reference, a brochure perhaps to give more information. The lump, however, is the intriguing part. It's the one that gets the envelope opened. Do make sure that you make it relevant to your message. Let's start by looking at the message itself. I have this lovely illustration courtesy of Carol A. Bentley, a friend of mine who wrote the book, I Want to Buy Your Product, Have You Sent Me a Sales Message Yet? In it, she describes the skeleton as the outline of her copy when she starts to put a letter together. We start off with the skull. It's a headline, and as you already know, that this is the most important element of your letter. The neck and the shoulders support your headline and are the opening sentence or the paragraph, first paragraph of your letter. Expand on the promise that you've made in the headline. The ribs represent your subheadlines and the offer itself. These give your letter its shape. Think of them as short one-liner sentences that you might put in a Twitter feed. The gist of the offer or the message should be gleaned from these short, stubby headlines. Your guarantee supports your offer. It is your demonstration of your confidence in your product or services. It takes away the purchasing risk from your buyer, and in your skeleton is represented by the pelvic girdle. One good way to encourage your reader to respond to your letter is to offer bonuses or a free gift. The legs of your skeleton are the bonus or the gifts you're offering your reader if they act and follow through the action steps that you're about to describe, and they are the skeleton's feet. And finally, your PS. These are the toes of your feet. You can use 1, 2, or even 3 PPSs. They keep you on your toes and keep your clients on your toes. Make sure that you bring them back to the headline so that they remember what it is that they are considering. And this is a direct mail checklist. It's a template for you to consider the contents that you're putting together for your direct mail campaign. Now you can do this as an e-shot campaign or email campaign. It still follows the same procedure. What an email campaign cannot do is put in the lumpy mail. So going back to the beginning when we mentioned that getting the envelope opened, the curiosity factor of the lumpy mail comes into its own. And here we have some examples. We're going back to Richard Mack. We've talked about him before in a previous webinar. And here he is with his story on Pancake Day, flipping his pens. Now it happens that pens are the best seller in promotional gifts. However, they may not necessarily link to your message. And these are some other examples of where I have seen lumpy mail working. There have been shoelaces to message about the shoestring budget. I've seen the Wellington boot rubber for the Colour Me Welly product. I've seen sunflower seeds sent out with a challenge to grow within the first 3 months, the largest or the tallest sunflower, representing growth. There is the ubiquitous USB stick, but think about what it is that you have got on the USB stick, because you need to encourage somebody to do something with that stick if you've got something on there that's worth sharing. Calendars work well, particularly if they are annual calendars. And there are, of course, the pens. I have to say I have many pens, but do remember, if you're going to do a pen, if you're going to use a pen, make sure that you do have your telephone number and your website address on it. Which brings us neatly onto the post-it notes. As you know, I am a big fan of post-it notes, and in this case we have RT Promotions post-it note on there to remind me. The great thing about post-it notes for me is that I will use them. I will write something on it, I will pull it off, very tactile, and I will stick it somewhere. RT Promotions, its telephone number and its website, is winking at me every time I have a look at that message. So that's Lumpy Mail. It's important that you make the letter relevant to your audience and that you make the lumpy bit relevant to your letter. I have another example here. This is one that Richard Mack gave me a couple of days ago when I was talking to him about this video I was doing. And he's created these pills to sort headaches out. They're actually mints, and Modufen is the company that he's produced them for, and they now are able to send these through the post and it will go through the letterbox because it's flat enough to do that. Previously they had been sending out bottles of mints instead to solve people's problems. So that's it from me. Do go to the Hidden Edge website where you can download the templates. Do share your stories there too. It would be great if you put your stories of where you've used Lumpy Mail, or where you've created a really good direct mail letter using the template, and share that success with the rest of our readers. So that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your tea break.